Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari 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 Rama, Rama Rama Hari Hari. Alright, we're changing the pace here a little bit here. So we're rocking and rolling and strolling around the internet here. And here we go. Ready? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Isn't Krishna the man? Isn't he the man? Woo, yeah. We get shelter from Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We did that one. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Oh yeah. Oh, funky. As Janaki would say, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Okay, let's try something. That's a little bit
hard to fit the mantra into that one.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Slow it down a little bit here. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. We're gonna get the right speed. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. That's good. That's good. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Gauranga Nityananda Gauranga, Gauranga Nityananda Gauranga Nityananda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Dirty bastard.
Oh, you like that one?
Just stopped.
Oh, you want to keep going?
Watch out. Well, need a nice fade out would be nice.
Fade, well, it's hard to fade it out. We need the equipment there. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada! Oh.
Boy, these things are really loud.
He wanted to get in on
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Oh, Guru Maharaj, those tunes are beautiful.
They're good, huh? They're
Yeah.
nice. All right, man. Let's bust some Maya. Want to bust some Maya? The transcendental policemen are here. We have our little, what do they call that?
Posse.
Posse.
Yeah.
Hey, Harold, welcome.
The phone looks cool with all the iridescence of it on the back. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's
It's
shiny.
cool colours.
Okay. All right, so, let's see, what do we find here? What can we...
Peacock.
kind of mischief can we get into here? So, how about, what do you want to hear? What do you guys, what do you enjoy? Let's take a vote. So you guys vote and they'll vote on there. So what do you guys want to hear out there? And what do you guys want to hear? CC, okay, we got one for CC. What's your vote?
Thinking.
Always thinking. What about you?
CC, agree.
CC? Okay, we got 2 for CC. Anybody else out there?
Yeah, but what okay.
Anshulila.
Okay, we got Anjulila. What about you?
Okay with me.
Get too convinced. CC! Okay, we got 3 for CC.
Okay,
That's a majority here. It's amazing to get 3 people to agree on anything. After all, this is Kali Yuga. The age of quarrel and argument. Disagreements. I got 4 for CC. All right.
Slam dunk.
Must be Krishna wanting this. Okay. All right. And Anjalila. Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Who wants to read?
Hare Krishna.
I'll read.
Okay.
Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare.
All right, database. Okay, we narrowed it down to Anjalila. Okay. How about Anjalila chapter 7. Okay. The meeting of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Vallabhabhata. Vallabhabhata.
Vallabhabhata.
Meeting of.
Vallabhabhata. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Shri Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Shri Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Simply by the causeless mercy of the devotees engaged in licking honey from his lotus feet, even a fallen soul becomes eternally liberated. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Advaita Chandra. All glories to all the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The next year, all the devotees of Bengal went to visit Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and as previously, the Lord met each and every one of them. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed his pastimes with his devotees. Then a learned scholar named Vallabhabhata went to Jagannath Puri to meet the Lord. When Vallabhabhata arrived, he offered his obeisances at the lotus feet of the Lord. Accepting him as a great devotee, the Lord embraced him. With great respect, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu seated Vallabhabhati. Battery low.
Bata.
Your battery's low.
Plug it in.
Oh, here.
Take one out of my phone.
No, that won't work.
There's a C cable.
Yeah.
Well, it's 19%. Is that still okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. With great respect, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu seated Vallabhabhata near him. Then Vallabhabhata very humbly began to speak.
Plug it in there.
Yeah, feels it. For a long time he said, I have desired to see you, my Lord. Now, Lord Jagannath has fulfilled this desire. Therefore, I am seeing you. One who receives your audience is fortunate indeed, for you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Since one who since one who remembers you is purified. Why should it be astonishing that one becomes purified by seeing you? One can immediately purify his entire house simply by remembering exalted personalities, to say nothing of directly seeing them, touching their lotus feet, washing their feet, or offering them a place to sit. The fundamental religious system in the age of Kali is the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Unless empowered by Krishna, one cannot propagate the Sankirtan movement. You have spread the Sankirtan movement of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, it is evident that you have been empowered by Lord Krishna. There is no question about it. You have manifested the holy name of Krishna throughout the entire world. Anyone who sees you is immediately absorbed in ecstatic love of Krishna. Without being especially empowered by Krishna, one cannot manifest ecstatic love of Krishna. For Krishna is the only one who gives ecstatic love. That is the verdict of all revealed scriptures. There may be many all auspicious incarnations of the personality of Godhead. But who other than Lord Sri Krishna can bestow love of God upon the surrendered souls?
You know, what comes to mind here is interesting, is you see Lord Chaitanya is treating him as a great devotee. And so Vallabha Bhatta also knows all about these things about ecstatic love. Isn't that interesting? He knows all, that ecstatic love is important. A lot of ecstatic love is amazing. He's favorable to it. He's interested in it and everything. So just see how things develop, and you're just going to see a very interesting obstacle. Even though he knows about ecstatic love, and the Lord's treating him as a great devotee, all these things. See if you can catch the moral of the story and what's going on in here. And then we'll see if we can see what's going on in this world in 2019. Okay.
Oh.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "My dear Vallabha Bhatti, you are a Bhatta. Sorry, Bhatti.
Nora Bhatti. He's never been called that before.
My dear Vallabha Bhatta." Did I say it again?
No.
No, you did, you did it right.
"You are a learned scholar. Kindly listen to me. I am a sannyasi of the Mayavadi school. Therefore, I have no chance of knowing what Krishna Bhakti is. Nevertheless, my mind has become purified because I have associated with Advaita Acharya, who is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is unparalleled in his understanding of all the revealed scriptures and the devotional service of Lord Krishna. Therefore, he is called Advaita Acharya. He is such a great personality that by his mercy he can convert even the meat-eaters, Malechins, to the devotional service of Krishna. Who therefore can estimate the power of his Vaishnavism? Lord Nityananda Prabhu, the Avadut, is also directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is always intoxicated with the madness of ecstatic love. Indeed, he is an ocean of love of Krishna.
So here the Lord is trying to teach him something about how to actually reach the level, that these devotees are at, because there's some problem there. Even though he knows about ecstatic love and all this, but there's a mountain of pride in Vallabha Bhatta. Okay? And I've seen this before in devotees. They know, just like now there's people teaching about Raganuga Bhakti, and they'd say the Raganuga Bhaktas and all this, but it's like they know it up here, but they don't really know it in their being, in their heart, in their feeling it. See? And so therefore there's a prone to speculate in all this stuff. And that's kind of what's going on a lot in Vaishnavism. People, because they, it's getting to know that Vaidhi Bhakti is really the lesser rung, and the Raganuga is this. But it's like Jesus said, he was the door, and actually all devotees, experienced devotees, are the door. Okay? And if you try to climb in some other way, you keep getting thrown out. And so that is one obstacle the Lord is trying to clarify in this book here, teaching, because a lot of people are stuck there. They're stuck like Vallabhavata. They studied enough of Prabhupada's books or Goswami books and everything, and they know the verses, they memorize things, they know about ecstatic love. But that's not enough. See, so the Lord is telling them, go to my devotees to learn. You go, if you really want to get purified, you got to go to the devotees who are actual devotees. They've got my mercy. They got this ecstatic, they actually got ecstatic love. It's not like they think they know it in their minds. But they're, and they talk about it, but they can't manifest it. It doesn't manifest on them. So for those persons, and a lot of them, they're very intelligent and they're devotees, great devotees, even to the world. Devananda Pandit was actually considered a great devotee, and the problem was there was this thing keeping him from getting this ecstatic love. And the purpose of Lord Chaitanya's descent was to remove all the obstacles so that people could get it. See? And so we're trying to do that now too. So because there are a lot of devotees stuck there, a lot of leaders especially. They think they know ecstatic love, but there's still, like you'll see with Vallabhavata, this pride of like a Brahmin pride, of envy, jealousy, competition, all of that, and speculation. See? And the only way the person has to somehow or other, usually they have to be humbled, and so you'll see the Lord humbles them, so that he could actually accept the mercy of the devotees. Otherwise, you'll see he was trying to give his own purports, but they weren't conclusive. Yeah, go ahead.
Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya perfectly knows the 6 philosophical theses. He is therefore the spiritual master of the entire world.
And you see, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, when he was unconverted, he was considered the reservoir of bad logic. But when he got devotion, all of a sudden he became a great scholar, just from devotion. That's what, it reveals the truth about bhakti. Matter of fact, he used to talk about mukti, mukti, mukti. And then he gets bhakti and sees the truth. It reveals all truths. And they say he didn't even want to say the word mukti. He said just bhakti, bhakti, bhakti.
Liberation. Means liberation. Mukti.
Yeah. From the Gita, really. Anyway. He is therefore the spiritual master of the entire world. In teaching the 6 paths of philosophy, he is the best of devotees. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has shown me the limit of devotional service. Only by his mercy have I understood that devotional service to Krishna is the essence of all mystic yoga. Srila Ramananda Rai is the ultimate knower of the transcendental mellows of Lord Krishna's devotional service. He has instructed me that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Through the mercy of Ramananda Rai, I have understood that ecstatic love of Krishna is the highest goal of life, and that spontaneous love of Krishna is the highest perfection. The servant.
So you see, highest goal is love. What do you say? Highest goal is love of God?
Ecstatic love.
Ecstatic love, and the highest perfection
is spontaneous.
Devotion. See, so that's the target. See, that's the target. And so, the Ramananda Roy understood this because he was a devotee, and not only that, because he was actually manifesting spontaneous love, he could actually awaken it in others. But it's not enough just to know about it intellectually. You have to receive the mercy of a Vaishnava, and that it can be very easy or very hard. Because like if you're like say a big leader or a guru or teacher, you have lots of disciples and everything, and you thought that you knew what bhakti was all about, but then you see a devotee actually manifesting bhakti, manifesting conclusive truth that you never even fathomed in even your life. What are you going to do? See? So ultimately, it was hard for Vallabha, but he eventually became humble and accepted the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Actually, it took a while, but you'll see. This is all. You see, this is all in Ancha Lila, the last part of the Lila and teaching. So, and go ahead.
Oops, hold on. I should read this last verse again. Through the mercy of Ramananda Rai, I have understood that ecstatic love of Krishna is the highest goal of life, and that spontaneous love of Krishna is the highest perfection. The servant friend, excuse me.
Water.
Yeah, thank you. Just a tiny bit. The servant friend, superior and conjugal lover are the shelters of the transcendental mellows called Dasya, Sakya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Shringara. There are two kinds of emotions. Bhava, emotions with an understanding of the Lord's full opulences is called Ashvara Janya Yakta, and pure uncontaminated emotion is called Kevala. One cannot achieve shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, simply by knowing his opulences. The Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, the son of Mother Yashoda, is accessible to those devotees engaged in spontaneous, loving service. But he is not an easily accessible.
Yeah,
but he is not as easily accessible to mental speculators, to those striving for self-realization by severe austerities and penance, or to those who consider the body the same as the self. The word Atma Bhuta, is that Bhuta?
Mm-hmm.
The word Atma Bhuta means personal associates. Through the understanding of the Lord's opulences, the goddess of fortune could not receive the shelter of Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj.
So this is a very important part of the verse, also part of this chapter of teaching. We talk about this a lot, is the Lord is accessible to those devotees who are engaged in spontaneous devotional service. Okay? He's accessible to them. And he's not as easily accessible. Okay? In other words, that's where if you want to be a sadhana siddha, then you do this renunciation and you try to attain the Lord like that. But that's rare and takes many, many lifetimes. But he's accessible to those engaged in spontaneous devotional service. Well, what's the purport of that? What's the practical thing of that? If he's engaged that way, and we're not engaged in spontaneous devotional service, and he's not attainable by renunciation, it's a big long haul, then what's the alternative? Okay? Well, this is the big secret. This is the big mystery. Yeah? And this is called, if you're fortunate, you get the mercy of a Vaishnava, and it's in their hands, because they're spontaneous devotees, to disperse or distribute this bhakti, awaken it in others by their association. And that's why, see, this bhakti is so powerful. It puts people through this cleansing. It drives out all of the obstacles that are in the way of attaining Vrindavan. That, very hard to drive out by doing renunciation, austerities, and all that. Okay, so this is the big secret. This, it's kind of odd, when you hear it discussed, when you see, you just hone in on all the verses, then you see this is all into the hands of the spontaneous devotees. If we don't run across them, we'll stay more or less in the level of Vaidhi Bhakti. Yeah. See? So that's why the Lord said his spontaneous devotees, they came to see him. They came to see him in Puri, and he said, because of your love for me, you can distribute this to who you want to. See? So that's how you get it. And it says, those who are absorbed in the devotional mellows by the action of the book Bhagavad devotee Bhagavad. Just all these verses. They show you the real mystery, but you can't see it unless you hear and learn from these kind of devotees that are actually engaged in spontaneous devotional service. Not just head tripping it. Not just, I studied all about this and I know all about ecstatic devotion. But if you're not engaged in it, you cannot distribute anybody. That's proof is in the pudding. You can say you're an ecstatic devotee and you're realized and all that, but if people aren't in that are coming to you and hearing from you, it's not awakening their ecstatic devotion. It's not awakening your ecstatic devotion. Then there's something not clear in your own understanding. Okay, go ahead.
When Lord Sri Krishna was dancing with the gopis in the Rasa Leela, the gopis were embraced around the neck by the Lord's arms. This transcendental favour was never bestowed upon the goddess of fortune or the other consorts in the spiritual world, nor was such a thing ever imagined by the most beautiful girls in the heavenly planets, girls whose bodily lustre and aroma resembled the beauty and fragrance of lotus flowers. And what to speak of the worldly women, who may be very, very beautiful according to material estimation. In pure Krishna consciousness, a friend mounts the shoulder of Krishna, and Mother Yashoda binds the Lord. In pure Krishna consciousness, without knowledge of the Lord's opulences, a devotee considers Krishna his friend or son. Therefore, this devotional attitude is praised even by Sukadev Goswami and Vasudev, the supreme authority. Neither those who are engaged in self-realization, appreciating the Brahma effulgence of the Lord, nor those engaged in devotional service while accepting the supreme personality of Godhead as master, nor those who are under the clutches of Maya, thinking the Lord an ordinary person, can understand that certain exalted personalities, after accumulating volumes of pious activities, are now playing with the Lord in friendship as cowherd boys. When Mother Yashoda saw all the universes within Krishna's mouth, she was astonished for the time being. The Lord is worshipped like Indra and other demigods. The Lord is worshipped like Indra and the other demigods by the followers of the three Vedas who offer him.
And so, see, Vallabha had to learn this lesson to get it through the devotees. And you'll see as the Leela unfolds, he had a very hard time. He just wanted to go and teach them. So the Lord's trying to say, hey, you want to learn about real Krishna consciousness, don't come to me directly. Don't think you know it. Go to them and learn all these things from these devotees. And you'll see the whole thing. He's resisting it. He's going around and he's trying to force them to teach them, and he was really puffed up. I mean, he's like, he just didn't. It was a hard time for him to get it, but finally he did, and realized that that's the way you get this jewel of Krishna consciousness. Just like the wives of the Brahmins, what did they do to get it? All they did was they were submissive and surrendered and favorable to the cowherd boys, the real authorities. And they went out and hung out with them, got purified, came back with ecstatic devotion. Why is it's so hard for people to get? The reason is the leaders are like this. They think they know, but they can't produce. Bhagavad-Gita couldn't awaken ecstatic love in devotees and others. They can't produce. It's always like that. So they think they know, and it's a big, and so for everyone, this last rung, this is the last snare of Maya, is this pride, this competition with the real devotees trying to distribute this. And so those persons don't go in, and most of the masses in religions believe in them. So this is why Jesus said, you don't go into the kingdom of God. It's being offered to you. And then you don't let anybody else go in because they believe you, and you say, don't go there, don't go there. So the leaders don't get in, and the followers don't get in. And this is a big problem. And that, but the book is teaching here this is an example of all these Brahmins, and there's so many gurus and authority, and they're like that. They're caught at that level. Okay? And so the Lord was trying to help him and others like him. That's what book is, not just where he aimed at these teachings of Bhagavad-Gita, but this is to remove the obstacles so that people can get into this kingdom. It's so easy in that way when you understand how to go in. This is the narrow gate Jesus was talking about. You go in through the empowered devotee with the message and the authority to release people. You have to have that authority. You have to have that order. See? That's why Prabhupada, he didn't, he had the power. Bhakti Siddhanta, Bhakti Vinod, they were empowered, but the order wasn't given to do that. He's left that into our hands. And so we're trying to convince people just by, enjoying Harikatha, and the revelations the Lord is, giving us to help ourselves and other people understand how to get into this kingdom. Because it can be very easy or impossible. If you don't, and that's why, again, you have to go through the actual teachers engaged in spontaneous devotional service. Not the ones just thinking about it or speculating on it and all that. No, they got to know the deep secrets and convince people, and those who become convinced will convince others because they say, yeah, it really works, I'm in there now, and I'm, see? So, and then it goes from there. But the majority of people, they're caught in this, in religion. That's why, Krishna says abandon it. Ultimately, you have to, because the leaders and their followers are stuck. They're stuck. Yeah. And therefore, again, this is why that verse in Caitanya-caritāmṛta is Lord Chaitanya teaches real religious principles. Yeah, and those are the principles we're teaching here, how to get through that narrow gate and get in through a low-class, fourth-class Sudra to humble the pride of these sannyasis, these gurus and teachers and Brahmins who are stuck there. And these others who believe in them are stuck also. Yeah, they can't. And sin is eradicated, or ignorant. Sin and ignorance, synonymous. This is ignorance. This book is the light. But it has to be in the hands of a spontaneous devotee who has to have the order. Otherwise, see, the Lord said, hey, don't give this, write the book, but don't teach this kind of thing. It's a postgraduate. Didn't Prabhupada say it's postgraduate? Okay? So anyway, the order is given, and we're teaching these subtle things. Whoever will listen here will very easily get this bhakti. They get purified very quickly, and then more, then it's just, otherwise very tough. Okay, go ahead.
When Mother Yashoda saw all the universes within Krishna's mouth, she was astonished for the time being. The Lord is worshipped like Indra and other demigods by the followers of the 3 Vedas who offer him sacrifices. He is worshipped as impersonal Brahma by saintly persons who understand his greatness through studying the Upanishads, as the Purusha by great philosophers who analytically study the universe as the all-pervading supersoul by great yogis, and as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotees. Nevertheless, Mother Yashoda considered the Lord her own son. O Brahmana, what pious activities did Nanda Maharaj perform to receive the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna as his son? And what pious activities did Mother Yashoda perform that made the absolute Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna call her mother and suck her breasts?
Yeah, and so there you see what pious the Lord, you said no pious activity can do that. Okay? So they're just eternally engaged in this service to Krishna. Okay? And so the Lord is trying to teach Vallabha and everybody else how to get this entrance into Vrindavan is just simply accepting the mercy of devotees already from there. They're already they're manifesting that mood and behavior of devotees of Vrindavan, the ecstatic devotional service. And they're, just by associating with them, you learn all about these things. And then you become increasingly favorable. And, even in Vaikuntha, in Bhagavad-Gita, Sanatan writes in there that Gopakumara had a hard time finding a place to stay in Vaikuntha, except he stayed at Uddhava's house, who was not opposed to the bhav that he had. In Vaikuntha, they can't understand such devotees, that think of Krishna in such a so-called irreverent way, such an intimate way. They can't believe it. So Uddhava, Gopakumara, who was from Vrindavan, had to stay at Uddhava's place because Uddhava was favorable to the bhav of Vrindavan. He submissive and surrendered to the deeper devotees. And that's the entrance. And so Vallabha had to go through a lot of trips to get humbled, just so he can accept the mercy of the devotees and not think he was bigger, better, and more than them. Okay.
Even if a pure devotee sees the opulences of Krishna, he does not accept it. Therefore, pure consciousness is more exalted than consciousness of the Lord's opulences. Do you understand that? Even if a pure devotee sees the opulences of Krishna, he does not accept it. Therefore, pure consciousness is more exalted than consciousness of the Lord's opulences.
Yeah, pure consciousness is intimacy. The more intimate you are with Krishna, is a devotee. If that's in the way, it's like everybody's worshiping the Lord at a distance mostly. They have this reverent mood and all this, and the devotees don't accept that. They say, no. I mean, the devotees of Vrindavan don't accept. They say, what is this? No, he's Krishna. The Lord is my friend, and they speak very often. It seems irreverently, like you speak very informally to a friend, and people, why aren't you putting more distance? This is God. See, and a devotee who knows Krishna more intimately, thinking, okay, people say he's God and everything, but I just like my relationship with him, and it's very intimate, it's very friendly, very informal. Okay? Yeah, a person is, they don't have to have some kind of formal dealings with the Lord. They like the informal, because Krishna likes it better, and the devotees like it better too. Okay? Prabhupada and our disciplic line dressing real nicely and with the big sticks and looking really like this and everything was a big show. It was show bottle, but they did it with a purpose, because people in the beginning, they're attracted to opulence. They can't understand the real nature of the Lord. What's this? Is that you or me?
It's an alarm clock. Wake up!
Give me that thing.
Careful, get the window.
Yeah. What was this speaking about?
Opulence.
Yeah, opulence. Yeah. So the opulence is in a way of devotees, and one thing, even with Prabhupada, you can hear stories. People love that intimacy, even as devotees, because when they, not everybody, but a lot of devotees, when Prabhupada was in an informal moods and stuff like that, and not working, he's just more informal. It's very wonderful, very endearing and charming. And the Lord is looking for that kind of worship. The other stuff doesn't attract him. He stays at a distance, and then.
You can see when Lord Brahma was giving him all those praise, he was just sitting there with his sweet meat and saying, "Okay, get on with it. Yeah, come on, I gotta play. Yeah, I'm great. Come on."
Yeah. So it's like that. Okay, go ahead.
Ramananda Rai is extremely aware of transcendental mellows. He is incessantly absorbed in the happiness of ecstatic love of Krishna. It is he who has taught me all this. It is impossible to describe the influence and knowledge of Ramananda Rai, for only by his mercy have I understood the unalloyed love of the residents of Vrindavan. The transcendental mellows of ecstatic love are personified by Svarup Damara.
So again, you see the Lord is teaching. See, Ramananda Roy is absorbed in ecstatic love, and only by his mercy did I understand these mellows. So who can teach such things other than the devotees themselves, engaged in spontaneous devotion? I mean, right there, is that obvious? Mm-hmm. That if anybody really wants Krishna in some lifetime, that's what you're going to get. You have to meet that kind of devotee engaged in spontaneous worship of the Lord. And the Lord is playing the conditioned soul part. Yeah, only by his mercy. He's trying to teach us. Only by their mercy. Yeah? Can I learn these things and understand? You can't learn from just a person intellectually got it. They just study the books and memorize the verses. That won't get you there. I mean, it'll get you a little closer, but you could be an obstacle. You may not receive the mercy of real devotees engaged in spontaneous devotional service because of the pride. See, that pride of the Brahmin, pride of being important, pride of followers, pride like that. You may have a difficulty accepting that mercy, and that's why you notice in our Bhagavatam examples, usually the followers come first because they're not so encased in that pride. The followers of these persons, like the wives of the Brahmins, they ended up going. The Brahmins couldn't go; they're full of pride. See, Bali Maharaj's guru couldn't come to Vamanadev. The follower came first. Okay. So it's like that.
The unalloyed love of the gopis and Srimati Radharani is without any trace of material lust. The cessation, is that right? The cessation of such transcendental love.
The what?
Citation.
Let me see. Yes, cessation or no? Here, show it to me. Okay. See. The criterion.
That's the word.
Criterion. Okay.
The criterion of such transcendental love is that its only purpose is to satisfy Krishna.
And that's the love the Lord wants to give easily in Kali Yuga if you make the right connection.
Get yourself connected.
Yeah, and it this kind of devotion so powerful that it burns away all the coverings to see that truth. Okay, that truth is only the residents of Vrindavan, especially the gopis, can see that that it's all about pleasing Krishna. And in Kali Yuga, the Lord wants to give such a powerful tool to liberate the souls, and that's his own love, his own devotion. And very quickly that burns away the coverings, and you see it for you in your own experience, how that shows up practically. How you're pleasing Krishna is the happiness of yourself and the devotees. That is the deepest and the greatest revelation. But that only comes by associating with those who actually have that covering burned off. To me, a guru is not a guru until they understand that to some level, some deep level. I know Prabhupada didn't give me that order until I was realizing that. It's like, wow, sharing the same heart with God, that's really intimate, man. I mean, we're all doing it, but who's aware of it? Very few. The residents of Vrindavan, especially the gopis, were aware of it. See?
O dearly beloved, your lotus feet are so soft that we place them gently on our breasts, fearing that your feet will be hurt. Our lives rest only in you. Our minds therefore are filled with anxiety that your tender feet might be wounded by pebbles as you roam about in the forest path.
Yeah, and I never thought of this before, because it's just kind of the way revelations are. Again, the lotus feet of the Lord is actually also the esoteric understanding of that. The lotus feet of the Lord are his truths, about him, his pastimes, his personality, and all that. And that's what the gopis, that's what the devotees hold to their hearts. You ever felt that? The real revelations and realizations of the truths. And they fear the pebbles. The pebbles is the Maya. People in Gabba, they are like pebbles, man, pricking, So the devotees are protective like that of Krishna. That's why, what do you think Jesus meant? Don't cast your pearls before pebbles, see? Or your food before more pebbles. I won't say the words he used, but basically that's it. So the lotus feet are that's why generally devotees, they keep the deeper purports close to their heart for themselves, and they give the general populace rules, regulations, moral teachings until the order comes. See? So, go ahead.
Obsessed with pure love, without knowledge of opulences, the gopis sometimes chastise Krishna. That is a symptom of pure ecstatic love. Oh dear Krishna, sorry.
Can you relate to that? A little bit?
Me and Kuna?
No, how about you and Krishna? You ever
Yeah,
feel
he
like
chastises me.
No, do you feel like you want to chastise him sometimes?
Oh, I shout at him.
You shout?
I guess sometimes I see my finger wag.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Oh my dear Krishna, we gopis have neglected the order of our husbands, sons, family, brothers and friends, and have left their company to come to you. You know everything about our desires. We have come only because we are attracted by the supreme music of your flute.
So, you see, the supreme music of the flute is not only this, you think you're going to hear that sound and all that, but you see, to attain Vrindavan, because it's rare, because the devotees from Vrindavan are rarely seen, and you see the gopis, they left everything to come to Krishna. They left their superiors, who says, see, superiors, anybody that you hold as your authority, right, in this world. Okay? Well, the devotees of Vrindavan are actually the greater authorities, and they have the greater truths, the greater understanding of God, And that's why these tests are pointed out. The wives of the Brahmins had to leave their authorities to go through the gate, which are the cowherd boys who really represented Krishna in Vrindavan. They had to leave their authorities. Bali Maharaj had to leave his authority to go to the Vamanadev, who represents the transcendental platform. You see? So otherwise, how can you go? If you're deterred by your authorities who are not liberated yet, and proof is, if they're really liberated, they won't tell you not to go. People in the spiritual world are not envious. Why would they hold you back? Okay? So, but this is the last snare, man. Okay? Last snare of Maya. So that's why, people, when this is available, you think, what happened with Jesus when he was here? The authorities were the Pharisees, and now he comes out of nowhere and starts preaching this message, doing miracles, having a very deep thing. People were feeling the shelter. And so the bottom line, who stuck with him? It was so hard, even many of his disciples turned against him, but they recovered because they had so much association. Because it's heavy, it's like, everybody is saying, oh, Jesus, you're a liar, you're a cheater, and all the Pharisees are, very tricky and speculating and all that, and lie and cheat, all kinds of anything to bring them down. See, so so even his disciples, most of them kind of like, well, they kind of ran away. But they recovered because they had enough association, and they realized, where's there to go? They go to the Pharisees. What are the Pharisees? They're a bunch of, puffed up persons. So Jesus appeared again. Anyway, there's that story. We're getting new revelations I'm getting new revelations I'm sharing with everybody. You can think about them. I get a lot of good insights coming on that. Leela. So anyway, there is that. I mean, anybody here often, there's some obstacles, people telling you not to come here, especially in the Vaidhi level, right? They say, oh, well, if you renounced him, well, you seem to be dead, we can't turn you back, so get out of here. They fired you, right?
Yeah.
They more or less fired this guy. Fired him from the Vaidhi Bhakti path. Okay, go ahead.
We have come only because we are attracted by the supreme music of your flute. But you are a great cheater, for who else would give up the company of young girls like us in the dead of the night? The conjugal love of the gopis is the most exalted devotional service, surpassing all other methods of bhakti. Therefore, Lord Krishna is obliged to say, my dear gopis, I cannot repay you. Indeed, I am always indebted to you. O gopis, I am not able to repay my debt for your spotless service. Even within a lifetime of Brahma, your connection with me is beyond reproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all domestic ties which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation.
And this shows you those who have this true greed. And you see it manifested here. Again, the dead of night, the person that's a devotee, you're following this path, and you know something about Krishna, everything, and then this darkness just comes and appears. See? And then you can't see, where's Krishna? It's like he was not coming or anything. Turns you away. Why have you forsaken me? Why? You ever notice it? So you're right, completely in darkness. You don't see any light at all. Right? See? So, but that's the person that makes it. They're like this in this thing, but they have faith, and they don't know. They just know, they're gonna, they have faith. They're gonna get through it, even though they're in the dark, just complete black. Yeah. I've seen it in our Sangha. I've also been there. I've had that also. It's like complete black. Didn't know what's there, and then breakthrough. The Lord really pleased the Lord. But that's it, man. That kind of thing. It's all teaching what people go through on the path. That's why, the Lord gives us a lot of incentive on the way, a lot of association, a lot of experiences, and then you go through like a dark night of the soul. See, dark night, dead of night, and why are you turning me away? Where are you? Where are you? Okay? And then the cloud disperses and the sun comes out. Forever. Okay.
So when we're going through that purification, that darkness that you just spoke about, it's about Krishna. He likes to know how much devotion we have towards him, but is it also about how he sees how much faith and how much trust we have in him? Because everything goes dark and you don't know.
Yes.
You just don't know, and you can only trust in Krishna and have that faith and test your faith in whatever Krishna is going to do. I actually don't really know to test that, and so in a way he brings that darkness over us.
No, the darkness, it's just what we have to go through.
So he's
not doing it. He's not doing it. We're in the darkness, and he's breaking
I explained
through.
it wrong. Yes.
To get to him, you got to go through it.
So you were saying, like, when go through purification, it gets less and less Krishna.
There's
because he knows your heart. He knows how much devotion you really have.
This is the old story. Is the darkness. We've been absorbed in the darkness. The old story is going to go. It's not going to. It's going to be less and less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it nice? O gopis, I am not able to repay my debt for your spotless service, even within a life of Brahma. Your connection with me is beyond reproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all domestic ties which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deed be your compensation. Completely distinct from love of Krishna in opulence, pure love of Krishna is the highest level. On the surface of the world, there is no devotee greater than Uddhava. Uddhava desires to take on his head the dust of the gopis' lotus feet. I have learnt about all these transcendental loving affairs of Lord Krishna from Svarup Damodar. The gopis of Vrindavan have given up the association of their husbands, sons and other family members, who are very difficult to give up, and they have forsaken the path of chastity to take shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, Krishna.
See, they've forsaken, they've forsaken the path of chastity. Like, a person likes to be known as chaste to their husband, their gurus, teachers, and all that. They forsake that for the truth. Okay? And most people won't, even for the truth. They won't do it. It's like, what did Bali Maharaj? He forsake his wealth, his reputation, everything for the truth. That Vamanadev was the truth, the ultimate reality, the ultimate truth. Sacrificed that for everything. And that's why he's glorified. That's why everybody is glorified that will do that. Anything that's pulling you away from the truth. If you somehow or other you just won't go, you serve the lie, basically, or the truth. And so the bona fide teacher, the bona fide preceptor, comes to deliver the devotees with the truth, with the conclusive truth better than anybody else. Okay? And if you go with that, you may have to sacrifice whatever's in the way. It could be family, friends, because those who are doing the lie. in religion, it could be guru. Your guru. If you're presented with a deeper, more clear, more logical, more ecstatic truth than what you're being taught by your teachers, and you think, well, regardless of that being presented, regardless of that ecstasy, that truth of Vrindavan, I'm not going. I'm going to stay here with this, with the whatever level of illusion is here that I'm being taught. I will not. So you're not a candidate to get out of this. Okay? That's why the deeper scriptures, this is confidential stuff, man. It's taught here. The gopis or the residents, they've sacrificed everything that's part of the illusion to make it like that. When this opportunity is presented, it's not always presented. Cowherd boys don't always appear to these wives of Brahmins. They just happen to be there at that time. Okay? So when the opportunity is there, the Vamanadev just happened to appear there at that time for Bali Maharaj. Okay? So he hearkened to the situation. See, over and over again, always, and look at Vallabhabhata. He had to sacrifice what was in his way, pride, competition with devotees. He let that go so he can get this deeper treasure. Yeah. Whatever you believe in, you might believe in that pride. A lot of people, they believe in their pride. They believe in that. So that holds them back to that. So anyway, this is for the residents. I think I want to stop here. I think it's getting a little bit late. Okay. Yeah. Want to read one more verse?
I'll finish this one.
Yeah, finish that one.
Okay, I'll just go. God, it's a long sentence. Who are family members who are very difficult to give up, and they have forsaken the path of chastity to take shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, Krishna, which one should search for by Vedic knowledge. Oh, let me be fortunate enough.
Yeah, and one point on that. You see, they've sacrificed this chastity for the sake. Say that again. Read that. The whole thing that you read.
Okay, who are family members who are very difficult to give up, and they have forsaken the path of chastity to take shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, Krishna.
See, the lotus feet of Mukunda is conclusive understanding of the truth. Okay? And that ecstasy. See, they forsake the path of chastity to whatever they believed in before. Okay? Because the highest truth is that reality, is who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is, and only his intimate devotees know that. So you have to sacrifice, because people are chased to things that people in the world think are wonderful and are really perfect and great and moral and wonderful, but they're still part of the modes of nature. See, there's going to be, if you have a guru or teacher in the mode of goodness, and you're chaste to them, that means their truth will not be as deep as a devotee who knows more intimately the Shuddha Bhakti understanding of the Lord, transcendental understanding. It's not enough just to have the scriptures and intellectually know them. Okay? So a lot of people, that's a tough one. They say, well, I'm not going to, even though my guru doesn't know have the greatest understanding, I'm still going to be with him. I'm going to be chaste because it's right to be chaste and you should never leave your guru and all that. See? So if you believe that, then you won't believe the deeper truth, the real truth, which is, hey man, if you want to get Vrindavan, you've got to go when it's being presented and where it's being presented. And that's when the person presents the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is in their preaching, and you accept that. You're accepting the lotus feet of the Lord as he is, and that's why people get delivered so fast, just from faith in the real conclusion, the right conclusion. Otherwise you're going to be chased to what even your friends, many of your friends are believing that too, right? You got to sacrifice that. Well, you leave your guru? Oh, no, because, you're not, so, you think superficially still. You think, oh, you're not, the Vedas say you never leave your guru. And that's as far as your thinking goes. But if you're with a person who knows more clearly truth, there, he'd tell you, well, wait a second here. Where is this all going? It's going to Vrindavan. What are those principles? Those principles are what's being taught here. Well, who knows it? Does your guru know that? Well, he never told me. Well, maybe he doesn't know. Well, where are these principles being known? Well, wherever they're being taught and shared. Yeah, who wants to go? Well, I don't know, man, That's a big thing. All my friends, they're saying, don't leave your guru and all that. But, so the real greed, it takes real greed. Somehow inside you have to say, no, I want that truth no matter what. Okay? And my job is to convince people that the Prabhupada's books say it's the right thing to do. Because it does. And that's not the right thing to do if a person tries to get you sentimentally sappy about it. Oh, you're not supposed to leave your guru. You're not supposed to leave your authorities. Oh, you're not supposed to leave your friends, your group you've been with, you've believed in, and they've helped you and done so many nice things for you. All of that. Hey, so what do you, bottom line is, I'm here to teach Bhagavatam as it is. Share these truths so people can get in the door. Who's ready? The door is open, man. Who wants to go in? Door is open. The door is what? Is Krishna, man. Krishna as he is. The Supreme Personality of God as he is. The truth as it is. Anybody out there, I don't care who they are, teaching you something against what's in these books. In the deeper, beyond Vaidhi Bhakti and Varnashram Dharma, of course. But the deeper principles, the confidential principles. Hey, man, this opportunity's here. Who's greedy, man? Who wants Krishna? Well, man, I'm teaching this here, or we're teaching this. The Lord's inspiring this. And you want to go after that and be sentimentally sappy about things that are unclear, well, go ahead, man. Yeah, I'm here, this is I'm presenting, the Vaishnavas can really consider these things, really look. Is this making sense? Is this logical? Is this what's actually in the book? And if you come to the conclusion it is, well, hey, man, do the needful, whatever that is. Look at Bali Maharaj. He left his guru. He's initiated duly by what he thought was bona fide. Yeah, powerful Brahmin, could raise the dead. Look what he did. He went to Vamanadev because the Vamanadev was more conclusive. Prahlad taught him also. Pure devotee taught him more conclusive understanding. How to recognize the symptoms of a liberated personality that even his guru couldn't recognize. See? What happened? What's the result? Did he go to hell? Yes. But the demigods worshipped him and threw flowers over. Wow, you did that. And he went to hell. Was it a bad thing? No. He was a great place for preaching for a devotee because they're always cool wherever they go because they got intimacy with God. Doesn't matter. A great place to preach. Hell. Earth even. There's a lot of hell here too, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great, Lord's close to you. He's always with you. Isn't that, do you see that here? Can you see, have you learned enough the symptoms of how to know where God is residing with his devotee? Keeping them ecstatic, keeping them conclusive, always revealing the right things. Can you imagine being in that association? How easy it's going to be for you to attain the kingdom of God? Is this making sense to anybody? And we will conclude on there. And Freddie, what can I give a quick answer to him here?
Was there any other replies? Well, the battery's gone on this.
Huh? The battery's gone on it anyway. See, Krishna said, that's enough, man. And so what do we Freddie, just get him. So Freddie says, I thought the dark night of the soul and Maya was that the soul was covered in, I don't know. It's too hard for me to think about that. Ask me tomorrow. Something like that. Satyananda Valchakalpa, I see more, okay. All right, Hare Krishna everybody. Time
Hare
to
Krishna.
go.
Hare Krishna.
Do what we need to do, whatever that is. Hare Krishna.
Well, look.